My name's Adam Monaco and I'm the Financial Controller for Hi-Tech Oils. With our national capacity, we can now service Australian companies nationwide. Of late, we have now expanded into the New Zealand market. Here at Hi-Tech Oils, we receive premium base oils and premium additive packs. Together, with our highly trained staff, we manufacture over 500 premium quality products. Hi-Tech Oils is Australian made and Australian owned.
Mixed weather and tyre lotteries were the story of the opening weekend at Brands Hatch, and trouble struck on lap 1. Off went Mike Bushell, Simpson and Matt Neal, and that meant the safety car was invoked. After the restart, Senna Proctor slapped the barriers and rejoined dead last. And Jack Goff made the conversion from pole to win round 1, and he was on pole for race 2. But Andrew Jordan made the start of the day and led the field away. Matt Neal's weekend was still not going to plan, back in the gravel once again, but also quickly recovered. And the big surprise of race 2 was Senna Proctor, starting last, gambling on slick tyres, diving between Jack Goff and Aidan Moffat to take the win. Round 3, Rob Austin on pole with Moffat alongside, and Ollie Jackson getting a great start from the high side of the track in the best weather of the day. Austin and Alpha led them down the hill, but it's still not easy to keep it on a track that's greasy and cold. Tom Ingram, starting from row 6, took the flag, winner of round 3, and after being 4th in round 1 and 11th in round 2, that puts him on top of the points at the end of the first weekend, well placed as we arrive in Donington with fingers crossed for the weather.
So let's see who the hero is going to be in round 4 of the Dunlop MSA British Touring Car Championship. The grid is back, the lights are red, it's Josh Cook on pole position. Lights go out, good start by Chris Smiley. Can he get up alongside the Vauxhall? Camish is away nicely as well as they run towards Redgate. Smiley can't out-track Cook, he moves across the defence from Tordoff. Camish on the outside line as they dive into Redgate. Camish breaks as late as he can, he goes up to 3rd, he goes up to 2nd. Tordoff's up the inside as well. Moffat tries to go with him, Cook slow out of the corner, 3 wide. Smiley on the inside will grab the lead, fantastic as they go through Hollywood for the first time. It is Chris Smiley who leads. Josh Cook comes back at him on the inside line midway through the craters. He's back in the lead. Smiley 2nd, Camish 3rd, Tordoff 4th, Aidan Moffat 5th. Wow, what a first couple of corners.
Well, the cars were all looking very nervous indeed as I think that might have been Matt Simpson, not sure.
I think so.
But the cars looking very nervous with cold rear tyres. They've crossed them over on the grid, remember, but this is the first time they've had the slick tyres on the cars this weekend.
Drama in the background, Adam Morgan off, Tom Oliphant delayed. I fear the 2 Sicily cars may well have come into contact, but off the road, Adam Morgan, he avoids the gravel, look very intelligently, goes for the grass to get back on track as Camish comes up to attack Smiley. It is Cook getting away. Now Camish is under attack from Tordoff. Aidan Moffat is in the mix as well. Remember, Josh Cook has not yet had a BTCC winner. Smiley dives up the inside, Camish dives up the inside for 2nd and goes through. So Dan Camish picks up 2nd spot. This new Team Dynamics run Honda Civic ahead of the ex-Dynamics car of Smiley down to 3rd, then 4th is Tordoff as they come across the line, 5th is Moffat, 6th is Goff, 7th is Smith, 8th is Chilton. Down towards Redgate they dive, and Josh Cook leading at the end of lap 1 by 8/10 of a second, and Chilton up the inside, elbows up, trying to get a place.
Now, I know that the Dynamics cars, we've got 3 abreast going through Hollywood down the Craner curve. Something's got to give here, Brett Smith. Oh, just get through. No, the poor motor-based cars is off, comes back on, and Chilton just holds it. Did he get rid of that little marker board as well at the same time? He did, so he won't overheat.
Matt Neal got a bit of it, but has got shot of that. So Chilton all over the grass. Thankfully, didn't get collected by anybody. Through goes Jordan, through goes Hill. And Chilton is back on track, albeit delayed. Now, Dan Camish is the man to watch here as Tom Ingram gets sideways in the background, possibly with a little bit of help, because Camish is lapping quicker in sector 1, at least, than the leader, Josh Cook. The gap was 8/10, and it's coming down. It's game on for third. Tordoff and Moffat now attack Chris Smiley. Remember, he's on the harder tyre, which is expected to be the slower, so he's struggling to defend as Tordoff goes third, and Aidan Moffat is up into 4th place. Then it's Brett Smith ahead of Jack Goff, the next pair to come up and attack. On board with Turkington, staring at the back of James Cole. You're riding in the 9th place car here, and off the road has gone Mike Bushell. That is down at the old hairpin. You can tell he's not the first person to have gone off over the course of the weekend. He won't be the last, because there is Sam Smelt, who has also gone AWOL, back on track. And that's a shame, because he qualified pretty well yesterday, did the touring car rookie. Right, Turkington lining up to have a go at James Cole, who is on the tail of Jack Goff, who is on the tail of Chris Smiley as they come down towards the chicane. Cole goes one side of the lead-laden Honda, 66 kilos. Remember, Jack Goff's lugging around. James Cole goes one side and then the other. And look, they're all queuing up behind the Ford as well.
Yeah, well, Goff's got double jeopardy, hasn't he? He's got 66 kilos and the hard tyre, bless him. So he's really fighting for everything he can get.
And doing a good job, actually, as James Cole goes from one side to the other. Proctor's on his toes. Matt Neal comes up the inside of Tom Ingram now as well and takes a place away. Remember, Ingram, hard tyre and 75 kilos. James Cole squeezes up the inside and through he goes. Proctor comes up to attack Turkington, who comes up to attack Goff, and this is the view down through the crater curves. Goff rides the curve. Turkington is sideways, possibly with help, and round he goes, and Ingram's going to make contact. No, he just misses him. Can Turkington keep out of the gravel? He can somehow. Well saved, that man. But did he fall or was he pushed?
Just bunching, I think, but we'll have to see it again. But he did very well not to spin off in the gravel and keep going and potential salvage some points. This is on board with Proctor. There you've got the BMW on the right as they come through. Just the tiniest of touches, look. Just the tiniest. No, you can't really blame. So side by side through there, trying to hang on to the car. Look, it's almost impossible. So it's just one of those things, I think. Oh, good avoidance there as well.
Tom Ingram, oh so close. So through they come, still nose to tail. We're on lap 7 out of the 16. And up front, by the way, Josh Cook, fastest lap of the race now as he creeps clear of Dan Camish, the best of the rookies, as he comes into the approach to Redgate for the 8th time. You're looking at the Smiley-Cole battle, still for 6th and 7th places. Now that is for 3rd, where the gap has come right down. Sam Tordoff in the Ford, the Motorbase Ford, just ahead of the Laser Tools Racing Mercedes of Aidan Moffat, who went so well at Brands, but was pretty unlucky, you've got to say. Here, he could yet be on the podium, couldn't he? Because he's creeping up onto the tail of Tordoff.
Yeah, he's been looking quick in all conditions all weekend, and they seem to have got a good handle on that Mercedes. Of course, there are 3 Mercedes running this year, but Aidan Moffat looks the quickest of the 3 so far at both meetings.
He wanted a wet track because he loves greasy conditions from his oval racing routes on slippery surfaces, but here in the dry he's going very well. So also you see Tom Chilton fighting back against Ollie Jackson with Andrew Jordan right up behind him in the BMW. Great battle pack here, raging on as they make the run behind James Nash up towards Schwantz Curve now. And Jake Hill has a look to the inside of the BMW of Jordan, can't find a way through to McLean's. Lap 8 they turn. And a sideways Chilton. Does he hang on to it? He goes one side. And he goes off and he demolishes the markers. Ollie Jackson goes through on the inside, Jake Hill to the outside of Jordan, so it's Chilton having a second off that slides back down the field. It's a real snakes and ladders race for him, this.
Yeah, this time, though, he has collected one of the banner balls. Yes. Fortunately, it's colour-coded to the car, so the Dunlop yellow board matching the Motorbase yellow.
It's all camouflage. Jackson launching himself up the curb. Jordan behind him then as they come towards the line. Just further up the road, Turkington after his spin is 16. There's Ingram under attack from Rob Austin, who's under attack from Senna Proctor. They're side by side as they run out of Redgate. So down the pit lane, Sam Tordoff, down to Redgate, Oliphant just ahead of Goff, ahead of Collard, ahead of Turkington, who goes ahead of Ingram. They all gain one place anyway, with Tordoff peeling into the pit lane, and this does not look good at all, does it?
What a shame for Motorbase, for Sam Tordoff, because of course it ruins his whole weekend. He has to start the second race at the back. You know, he could have really had a strong result. It looked like a certain podium.
Oh dear. So Cook, Camish, Moffat becomes the top 3. Brett Smith running 4th, could be on for his best ever touring car finish here. And can he do anything about those ahead of him? His last lap was comparable to Moffat, but not quite as quick. Jack Goff under attack from Collard, who now goes to the inside line up towards Coppice. He should be able to go through. Much lighter car. He does go through. He's on the better tyre as well. And Turkington in another recovery drive, like we saw at Brands Hatch here, tries to make a move as well. And you've got Sutton coming up to attack Ingram. It's going to be another day of changing fortunes, isn't it? But Josh Cook out front, 1.9 seconds ahead of Dan Camish now. He's disappeared up the road as the BMs launch themselves through the chicane. Now, in parish news, as it were, Aidan Moffat's being given a driving standards flag for track limits, and Tom Chilton has done the fastest lap of the race. This is Jason Plato versus Mike Bushell, who dives up the inside curb and all. Don't care if you're a champion, through he goes, leans on Jason. Jason gets onto the grass, Bushell ahead of Plato.
Well, we knew Mike Bushell wasn't going to be a respecter of anybody this year, coming back into touring cars, having won Clio's convincingly last year, and he's proving that. He's shown some good pace so far.
Mike Bushell off the road at Redgate a lap later. How he got there we will come to in a moment, I'm sure, but up front Josh Cook has driven faultlessly in this race thus far, and he will come through with only a couple of laps to go. Now, Chris Smiley's life is not getting any easier. He's still having to defend for all he's worth. Senna Proctor is behind him. Smiley is 7th. And actually, that's not a bad effort, given that he's on that slower tyre.
Yeah, I mean, I said top 6 he'd be very happy with, and I think he's done a great job. Yes, he's got no weight in it, so he hasn't got the double whammy like Ingram and Goff have got, but he's still driven very well. It's easy to lose your rag when you've got lots of faster cars around you on softer tyres.
Cook leading Camish by 2.4 seconds. Camish to Moffat is 2.3. And there is Josh Cook. He's on his penultimate lap. And Sam Tordoff's race is done. And the day, as Tim was making the point earlier, has just taken a turn for the worse. However, for Josh Cook, the day has finally come. It's been a long time coming, and he has delivered in style, because for the first time in his career, Josh Cook is a British Touring Car Championship race winner. He wins round 4 at Donnington. Dan Camish is 2nd, Aidan Moffat 3rd, and Brett Smith, a great drive, his best yet, for 4th. For Eurotech, 5th will go the way of James Cole. 6th is Matt Neal, up from 17th on the grid. And we're not done yet, because there Jack Goff falls back behind Ash Sutton across the line. 7th is Smiley, 8th is Proctor, 9th is Oliver, Turkington 10th, Collard 11th. The drag race to the line for 12th place is Ash Sutton ahead of Jack Goff. Ingram is 14th, and it's Rob Austin 15th. Absolutely exemplary drive by Josh.
Yeah, interesting, isn't it? Chilton, who finished 29th, set the fastest lap of the race, and Matt Simpson, who was 31st after that early problem, he ran behind the winner Cook for the whole of the second half of the race, didn't drop anything. So he had good pace, but he won't be happy with that result.
The green flag waved at the back says everybody is good to go. Turkington is at the end of the pit lane. He's at pit out. It is round 5 of the Dunlop MSA British Touring Car Championship. There's a 5-second board being displayed to the drivers, who then focus on the lighting gantry. Lights will go red, and then let's see who makes the best start when the lights go out now. Good start by Camish, not a great start by Brett Smith, a good start by Rob Collard, as you would anticipate, as they run down towards Redgate for the first time. Camish leads the way. Cook 2nd and trying to defend from Moffat on the inside. There's a lock-up from Brett Smith on the outside line, and he drifts out very wide. Matt Neal gets up past him, so Camish leading. Cook is 2nd, 3rd is Moffat, 4th was Cole, but Smiley comes up alongside him on the outside line. Through the dust they come downhill, and Chris Smiley goes through, but look at Rob Collard, who already is up into 6th place in the BMW.
Yeah, no surprise there. Rob Collard making a great start. Remember, he still gets that rear-wheel drive car off the line very well. A lot of cars looking like they've got cold rear tyres, and add to that the difficulty of visibility, but Dan Camish is leading his first British Touring Car race.
On the harder tyre, so let's see how the tyres stand up in this race. It is Camish ahead of Cook, who's on the hard tyre, ahead of Moffat, who's on the hard tyre, and then Smiley on the softer rubber. Collard is up to 5th as Cole slips back a spot. Then it's Oliphant. Ash Sutton is next ahead of Tom Ingram as they work their way over the curb and through the dust for the first time. Moffat now makes his move on the inside, and the Mercedes, looking so strong this weekend, breezes on by up the inside, and Moffat takes 2nd place coming into the chicane. Smiley, though, is the man to watch in the BTC Norlin. Grey Honda in 4th place because he's on the faster tyre as they come up over the line, and he now challenges Josh Cook, and that's Rob Austin getting sideways in the background. The Alfa Romeo goes around, and it does make contact with the wall.
Smiley down the inside, he's inside Cook. Nice, clean, decisive manoeuvre. Don't run out too wide. Has Cook got back inside him? Oh, he's touching with Aidan Moffat so nearly off at a very dangerous place. Although, has he got damage to the rear? Moffat may have further damage. I think he might have some suspension damage. He's a bit of a roadblock there.
Absolutely right. It looks as though something might have been tweaked in that, whether it was the tracking or a tyre. Either way, up into second again is Josh Cook. Chris Smiley third, and Aidan Moffat is fourth. But yes, he's lost pace, and he's now the roadblock. As you said, the cork in the bottle as James Cole in the yellow Ford dives up the inside of a sideways. Rob Collard doesn't gain the place. Look behind them. Tom Oliphant is under attack from Tom Ingram. The cars are at Coppice. Replay of the start, Tim.
Great reaction and great traction from Dan Camish. Remember, the front car's very heavily ballasted, but Camish did a perfect start and got well ahead into Redgate on turn one, which was great news. This is on board with Jack Goff coming down into the chicane. And you've got Oliphant and Ingram there. A good run through the chicane by Jack Goff. I thought we were going to see. Here we go. Back to Camish, still leading, breaking off the oil, and dive up the inside. That's Cole, and he's through, and he's taken Ingram with him. Ingram's looking like he's going to get 2 for 1.
Fantastic. For the lead, Smiley is catching Camish. He's done the fastest lap of the race as Ingram goes ahead of James Cole coming down the hill. So the championship leader absolutely flying. And Rob Collard, every time he makes one step up, he gets a step back at the moment because other people seem to get past him. However, Aidan Moffat is coming back at Josh Cook, and Chris Smiley is hunting down Dan Camish for the race lead. So last time around, Smiley was a 10th quicker, and Josh Cook is not disappearing away from Smiley. He's staying with him.
Well, as you looked up at the monitor, Smiley had a massive moment on the braking coming round the left-hander before Coppice. An absolutely massive slide. He held it very well.
The danger here is becoming Tom Ingram because he's absolutely charging up the pack. He's another, remember, on the faster tyre, on the prime tyre, and as they come down towards the chicane, he's carving his way up the order, closing on Aidan Moffat as there Rob Collard gets elbowed out a little bit wide. Ash Sutton's up alongside him. Rory Butcher is next in the queue in the MG. You've also got the Audi there looking to gain ground of Ollie Jackson as they come pouring over the line. So, deep breath. Camish leads Smiley. Cook is third. Moffat fourth. Fifth is Tom Ingram. In sixth is James Cole. Seventh is Jack Goff. Tom Oliphant is eighth. Ninth now Brett Smith. 10th is Ash Sutton. And there's contact between Ollie Jackson and Rob Collard coming out of Redgate, and Jackson is sideways. He's on the grass on the inside at Hollywood, and he now toboggans his way across the grass, and hopefully he can blend back in without causing Carmageddon. He picks up one of the Dunlop markers. He gets in the way of Josh Price, but actually everybody has avoided driving into anybody else.
Yes, but very unfortunate to end up with that marker board on the front. The team have obviously told him. He's wiggling to try and get rid of it, but not sure. He needs to get some lessons off Gordon Shedden on how to remove debris from the car, but this is all going to depend on how quickly Smiley can catch up with Camish. Camish is doing a great job on the hard tyre with 66 kilos.
We're getting reports back, apparently, from Camish that the road is very slippery. We've also had Rob Austin, after his spin, doing the fastest lap of the race. And Camish leads, and then you've got this battle pack building up for second place. Smiley, Cook, Moffat, Ingram, then it is Cole and Goff. Jack Goff, remember, second in the championship, so he's kind of shadowing Ingram, isn't he? Everything Tom does, Goff there just staying with him as they come down towards Redgate. Goff dives up the inside of Cole, and he goes through. That was a good move, and it puts him up into 6th place now. As coming out of Redgate, Ingram tries to move forward a spot as well, and he does so up the inside of Aidan Moffat. So one gain for Goff, one gain for Ingram. Rory Butcher round the outside now, and he's going to try and get past all the Mercedes in one move. When he gets 2 of them, that was excellent. Aidan Moffat's the one slipping back. We know he's on the harder tyre anyway, plus possibly damage from earlier on in the race, but Moffat now is the one losing places. Sutton goes ahead of him. Collard comes up on the outside, but Morgan is making great progress forward. There is Sam Tordoff. He's running 14th from 31st on the grid.
Yeah, that's going to help him, isn't it, in the Forever Forward Awards. But yeah, fired up Tordoff. Great to see. And with cars in front on the harder tyres, slightly slower, holding him up, he's been able to close up. But look at Morgan and Brett Smith are absolutely flying, aren't they? But Oliphant's back in the game.
But so is Rory Butcher, because he's in this mix as well. He's chipping his way back into contention as they come down to the chicane. Fascinating fact track 37 is that last time Smiley and Ingram did identical lap times. Matt Simpson has done the fastest lap of the race down in 29th, and Brett Smith, making this car very wide indeed, is now just leading the 7th place battle pack. The lead gap is coming down though. Smiley is only 3/10 away from Dan Camish as they start lap 8 of 16. You're looking at the fight for 7th. It is Smith from everybody. Sutton hurls the Subaru up the inside of Oliphant and goes through and gains another place. That now puts him 9th. Adam Morgan is all over the back of Brett Smith for 7th as they come downhill. Oliphant fights back. Sutton was ahead at Redgate. They're side by side through the crater curves. This is brave stuff, and Tom Oliphant gets the place back on the inside at the Old Hairpin. Fabulous.
Well, this is why Tom Oliphant wanted to go British Touring Car Championship racing, because he's not frightened of anyone and loves to get stuck in. But Sutton's round the outside now as they approach McLean's. Look at it, side by side. It's like a NASCAR race.
But Morgan is the mover. He's up the inside of Brett Smith for 7th place. The Mack Tools Racing Mercedes goes through, and Sutton, the opportunist, gets the same line, so he gets up past Brett Smith, and now the door is open. Oliphant wants to leap through the gap as well. Can he do so? Brett Smith tries to move across on him, but Oliphant is almost alongside on the inside. He can't quite get there. Down they come towards the chicane. Morgan ahead of Sutton, and then Oliphant does just go ahead of Brett Smith, who goes all over the curve, and that compromises the exit. Now it's 3 for the lead. Camish, Smiley and Ingram as one at Redgate. Fantastic race. There's everywhere you look, there's a battle going on. Behind the top 3, Cook is 4th, Goff 5th, 6th is Cole, 7th is Morgan, 8th is everybody else.
If you ever wonder why drivers want to take part in the British Touring Car Championship, just take a look at this as Smiley goes through on Camish. Ingram's going to get him on the run up the hill, probably as well round the outside. Camish knows he's wounded. He's probably going to let these two go. A 3rd place would still be magnificent if he could hold on to it with the weight and the hard tyres, but Smiley and Ingram absolutely always going to get him.
Here's the move then down to the Old Hairpin. Gap on the inside. Smiley needs no second invitation, and Tom Ingram tries to make the move as well, coming out of the corner. There's a yellow flag in the first sector. We saw one of the Audis parked. I think it was Sam Smelt's car. And so as they come now up through McLean's corner, the 2 leaders, nose to tail. Ingram goes to the inside. Can't find a way through there. They turn their way out of Coppice. This is lap 10 of 16. And this is Ingram's chance. He gets a tighter line coming out of Coppice. Smiley moves across. Ingram is there. This is the move for the race lead. 2 wheels skim the grass. Tom Ingram is on the inside line, and he goes through to take the lead of round 5 of the championship into the chicane. The Toyota then it is that comes out ahead at the end of lap 10 over the timing line, and Tom Ingram it is then who started 13th leading the way, but Smiley is not going to give up without a fight.
Well, Ingram's being shown on the timing streets as having the hard tyre on, but he hasn't. He used the hard tyre in race 1 when he had maximum ballast on board. So that's an error on our timing screens. He is on the prime tyre, the same tyre as Smiley. You can see the yellow sidewalls.
Absolutely so. Chris Smiley then spurred into life. He wants that lead back. Bit of traffic up the road as well. So behind them, have a look at Dan Camish. He's being reeled in now by Jack Goff. And here's Aidan Moffat, who is in 11th place. And behind him is Chilton, who's done an amazing job up from 28th on the grid to be 12th. Tordoff is 13th, having started 31st. Collard has yo-yoed a bit in this. He is 14th. 15th is Matt Neal. 16th is Brett Smith, who's gone tumbling down the order. But he's on the prime tyre. And then behind him, there is the charging Jake Hill, doing it again as he did in race 1. And then it's Tom Boardman behind. And then it's Andrew Jordan. And then it's Stephen Jelly. Just come pouring through. The line for 11th place is pretty much the rest of the field.
Moment for the leader. He does like to throw that car around. He has that car set up so loose, in other words, oversteery, just to preserve the grip on the front tyres. If you have the car, front-wheel drive car, set up understeery at all, it wears the fronts too quickly, so the more oversteer you can live with, the better. And Tom certainly gives us value for money, gives the photographers a lot of great shots.
There is Sam Tordoff with a bit of front damage. Now, Tordoff turning through in 12th place. He also could really benefit for race 3 if the right number is pulled out of the bowl, but he's got front damage. But remember, 12th he runs and 31st he started.
Yeah, and of course it's 12 cars that get up to 12 that get reversed now, so he could luck in. As Morgan now, he looks like he's got enough. He's got enough out of Coppice to get up the inside, down into the chicane. Camish wisely, he's not fighting it. He can already see Josh Cook closing in the mirrors as well.
So Jack Goff goes through, that puts him 3rd. Camish tries to fight back as they come across the line. The gap between the leaders is 0.6 of a second. Side by side for third. Camish is not going down without a fight as they break for Redgate, but on the outside line, unless he can get the switch back on the inside coming out of the corner, which he can't, he's going to have to settle for fourth place with Cook and Cole closing behind him. It's like a barbecue, isn't it, Cook and Cole? Anyway, down they come through the crane of curves. Morgan is 7th, 8th is Sutton, and fair play to Camish, he's still fighting.
Well, I think into Redgate, he just wanted to make sure he had the best line as we see Collard, Moffat, side by side, down the crane of curves. Moffat gives up, and through goes Collard.
There is Brett Smith then, trying to defend from Aidan Moffat. And Collard having a really odd race here. I know he's on the hard tyre, but he's yo-yoed up and down the order. Colin Turkington is serving another pit stop as they try to get to the bottom of this water system problem and treat this race as a test session. So Adam Morgan, fastest lap of the race. Tom Ingram leading by 6/10. We are on lap 14 out of 16 in another of those races where you want to hide the checkered flag, and we are not done yet because there's still a lot that can shuffle out of this. The battle is on lower down the order between Brett Smith and Aidan Moffat. The race leaders have gone by, with now the gap being 9/10 as Ingram gets away from Smiley. There you can see Dan Camish coming under attack from Josh Cook. 4th and 5th they are, and there's Adam Morgan with that fastest lap point to his credit. Can he gain another place before flagfall?
And very impressive to do that on lap 12. I know we had some oil down early on in the race, which might have made the track a little bit slippery, stopped them doing their fastest lap. But it shows what a good balance Adam Morgan's got in that Mercedes, and he's got time to still get a couple more places. But Camish is going to start to fight now because there's only a couple more laps to go, a lap and a half.
Absolutely right. In another epic race. What a season we're having as Dan Camish comes under attack from, of course, the winner of the first race earlier on in the day for his maiden win, Josh Cook. Behind there is James Cole, and Adam Morgan looking for a way by. Is now away by Cole up the inside of Cook. Can't do it yet, and all of this enables Adam Morgan to choose his line coming around the outside out of Coppice. So Cole now gets into the draft of Cook, but he's got Morgan on the outside line looking to buy into this as well, and this will be for 6th place. To the inside of Cook goes Cole, and he goes through. Morgan gets past both, does he? Because Cole's off the road at the chicane. Morgan jumped Cook, and he comes out of the chicane ahead of James Cole. Brilliant stuff by Adam Morgan, starting the last lap. Great opportunistic move, and he goes 5th.
He does, and that was a good move. It was all going to kick off in that chicane. Of course, this is all great news for Dan Camish, and he's learning now that if you've got a group behind you, that's Turkington, very disappointed, but if you've got a group behind you fighting it out, you can maintain your position. That's given Camish a little bit of a gap on this final lap.
So, Tom Ingram leads round 5 of the championship, looking for a 2nd win of the season. 2nd is Chris Smiley, and 3rd is Jack Goff. So Tom Ingram it is, down towards the chicane. He led onto this last lap by a 2nd. Chris Smiley probably doesn't know whether to laugh or cry. He's led, he's been up there, and yet so close to a win. He's going to be just denied by last year's independent champion. The checkered flag is at the ready, and round 5 is going to be won at Donnington by Tom Ingram for Speedworks Motorsport. Chris Smiley takes his best ever in 2nd place, and Jack Goff 3rd. And then Camish just fending off Morgan as they come across the line by 0.3 of a second. Another action-packed race won by Tom Ingram. 0.8 up on Chris Smiley taking his best yet. Jack Goff 3rd. Dan Camish 4th ahead of Adam Morgan and then James Cole. 7th goes to Josh Cook ahead of Ash Sutton and then Rory Butcher, with Tom Chilton, another great drive, up into 10th place. Laps of racing in prospect. Round 6 of the British Touring Car Championship. Good to go. Light to red, light to go out. The rear-wheel drive Subaru blasts away from the line. Can Ash Sutton bag the lead on the way down towards Redgate? Not quite. Rory Butcher it is on the inside line. Good start by Josh Cook. Adam Morgan tries to get up the inside of James Cole as well. Dan Camish on the outside losing ground. Jack Goff goes ahead of him. Chris Smiley dives up the inside of Camish as well. And downhill, Butcher, Sutton, Morgan, 2 wheels on the grass, level with Josh Cook. There's a roadblock ahead of Ingram. Look 3 wide going through Hollywood. Who is going to be 3rd to lead those on the prime tyre? It's Cook, a bit crossed up, and off goes Tordoff, and his teammates are all involved in that as well. Stephen Jelly is in the wrong place at the wrong time, so also is Josh Price, Mike Bushell. Senna Proctor. There is mayhem down at the old hairpin, and there are cars everywhere, and you know what's going to be added to the circuit. The safety car is deployed as Sutton grabs the lead and Cook gets up the inside.
Yeah, they're still racing until they get to a safety car board. But you saw all the cars twitching as they came down the crane of curves. All the cars with cold right rear tyres. They must be getting close to the safety car boards now. They'll certainly be out at the chicane because they go out. Look, you can see them in the background there. They go out in both directions, but they're still racing these guys into the chicane.
And Morgan up the inside, and there's contact. Josh Cook was sideways. He loses one spot to Jack Goff as they come across the timing line. And there are the yellows, and now everybody gets the message, thankfully. But actually, there's all sorts of overlapping as the cars come over the line. For whatever reason, the message seemed to get through to some late, and there's another one that is off the road, Brett Smith. This, I fear, is going to take some time, not because it's a long process these days to get the cars out of the way, but there are so many of them.
Well, the thing is, some cars will tow and be able, I mean, that's Josh Price's car on the inside there at the old hairpin. That will easily tow, assuming there's no suspension damage. The cars in the gravel need the lift, and we've only got so many recovery vehicles that can do the snatch. Proctor in the pits, disaster for him. The safety car comes around, but you saw from this camera footage, as the cars came down crane and curves towards us, they were all twitching and snaking and having trouble with that right rear.
So now you've got debris on the circuit where people have been off and come across the road. Josh Price was involved in it, so was James Cole. He was the other Motorbase driver with teammate Sam Tordoff. Tom Chilton, just about to go through the old hairpin there, was the one that somehow got away with it. So let's try and piece it all together. Some did survive, like Stephen Jalley. He got going again. Right, Tim, good luck. Talk us through it.
Right, watch the cars twitch as they come through here. Look, the front butcher's twitching. They're all twitching, and then obviously Tordoff goes round, couldn't see if there was contact, and then it's a concertina reaction.
Cole hit the curb at Hollywood and sort of bounced wide towards Tordoff, and Collard got in the back of them as they all slowed. It's all started, I think, by now. Have a look.
This is going to be the end of it. Yeah. At the same time, Sutton was able to get outside, get alongside Rory Butcher on the exit of the old hairpin. This could be good. All hell breaking loose in front. Where do I go? Inside, outside? Oh, I'll just go into the back of Jason. Oh, and then Bushell.
The side of Mike Bushell.
Yeah, and it's that second damage that actually put him into the pits. Here's the lead change. Sutton was alongside Butcher, and look at Josh Cook getting stuck in as well. He knows he's got to get past quickly on those medium tyres.
So here's the scene down at the old hairpin. That last onboard we saw was from onboard Senna Proctor, who has had to make a pit stop as a consequence. And so the race order is Ash Sutton from Adam Morgan, Rory Butcher third, Jack Goff fourth, because although Josh Cook had gained ground at McLean's, he lost ground again at the chicane. Sixth is Chris Smiley. There is Senna Proctor. Dad Mark leans in to have a quick word. But the car's in the garage, which is never a great sign, and is that going to be the end of the day? Seventh is Tom Ingram, eighth Dan Camish, ninth Rob Collard. Andrew Jordan's up to 10th, but so many people were delayed. It was pot luck, really, which line you took and whether it worked or not at the old hairpin. Yeah,
well, Morgan has done most of the hard work already. Look, he's got past Butcher. He's only got Sutton in front on the hard tyre and probably not such a quick car. So, you know, at the moment, I'd say Morgan is in the cat seat at the moment. Yeah. He's done a lot of the hard work, and Josh Cook, who was the other one likely to be challenging, is in fifth.
Tom Oliphant with damage. Look, so if the air gets underneath the bonnet, the danger is it'll rip that off, so the scrutineers might want him in for some tape to be used.
Well, he'd be better off to come in the pits now behind the safety car, get that tape down. They've had time in the pits to get a nice big wad of tape. They could tape that down. He could be back out behind the safety car and on the back of the Crocodile.
So his car's being extracted from the gravel bed. Colin Turkington is in the race, and thanks to the Harry Carey down at the old hairpin, he's up to 26th.
Yeah, and Collard made I was interested to see at the start. I expected the Subaru rear-wheel drive would out-drag off the line the Rory Butcher's MG, but in fact, Butcher made a really good start and beat him into Redgate. So that was a good start by Butcher.
So cars go down towards the chicane. We're on to lap number 4. And this is from Jake Hills on board, and Brett Smith's dramas are up the road. Matt Neal's battling with him, and Rob Austin is there.
Well, he was moving sideways, backwards and forward, probably didn't see that Rob Austin was there. And when Brett moved back to the left to take the line, he inadvertently moved himself across the front of Rob Austin.
Tom Oliphant's car there is being given the meatball flag, the black and orange flag. There it is, and that means there is a problem with your car you may not be aware of. You need to come into the pits and sort it. So hopefully as well there'll be the message over the radio from the team to bring him in. Motorbase's day, Tim, has gone pretty badly, hasn't it? Here,
it's
two
not
of
good.
the 3 cars are gone.
But Alan Gow gets to use his new truck. Look, it's being used. That's the new safety truck, which is the rapid response safety truck that's been introduced this year. Fabulous piece of equipment. It's got some wonderful machinery on it and being used as a recovery vehicle at the moment.
Tom Oliphant down the pit lane, and this is Jack Goff from the start, Tim.
Yeah, Jack makes a pretty good start. Watch Morgan in front. Camish is on your left, trying to close the door. Everybody's trying to get to the inside to box the situation in. Goff is right there. He's hoping for Morgan to get a good exit, which he does. So Jack is able to tuck in behind. Oh, he's looking down the inside of Cook. 2 wheels on the grass. We're up to 125 miles an hour now, but Cook's not having anything of it at that stage. No wonder the car's had a twitch. Did you see Morgan's car moving about there? And then it's on the exit here that Morgan gets a good run going up the hill, following Cook and Ash Sutton passing Butcher around the outside, sweep round the corner, again leaning on the car, braking hard for McLean's. Morgan gets a good run out of McLean's, and now there's going to be a little bit of a touch between the 2 in front, which gives him the momentum. Watch how he dives to the inside. Perfect, set that up, 2 in 1, and that was a crucial move for Morgan.
So second at Coppice, although Rory Butcher tries to come back. And this, of course, then puts Josh Cook in jeopardy because there's more fun and games about to happen at the chicane.
Yeah, into the chicane, and, well, 2 into 1 never goes there. But Butcher actually did well to save that nicely. But and then, whoa, safety car's out. Anchors on, chaps.
But it was the contact between Goff and Cook that, of course, swapped them over. Now, Josh Cook is running back ahead of Jack Goff, even though, as you can see, when the safety car came out, Jack Goff was ahead. So has there been a call to reverse the place because of that push?
Well, of course, there is the rule now that if you gain an advantage by contact, you can give the place back voluntarily, which may well be what the Eurotech have told him to do. It's not worth risking a penalty after the race when you could give it back now. And there we are back on board with Josh in front, and then try and recover it again during the race, which I'm sure he's got a good chance of doing.
So Ash Sutton, the race leader, Adam Morgan second, and Rory Butcher third as we come up to the end of lap number 6. The safety car will peel in, and we will be back racing as Ash Sutton now accelerates into the chicane. He tries to get the drop on Adam Morgan. Butcher third, Cook fourth, Goff fifth, Smiley sixth, Ingram, Camish, Collard, Jordan. That's your top 10 as we go racing. Green flags fly down towards Redgate. Can Butcher do anything about Morgan? No, because Morgan moves to the middle to defend, but he's not close enough to attack Ash Sutton for the race lead either.
I'll tell you what, Ash, Dan Camish has got some front. He's only flashing the headlights at Tom Ingram, the championship leader and 2-time race winner this weekend. He doesn't respect anyone, does he? He's going to get stuck in.
As Butcher tries to get stuck in against Morgan, and now that Adam is defending, Ash Sutton's trying to get away up front. So the gap just slightly extending as the leaders go up towards Schwantz Curve. We're on lap 7, and we're up to 19 laps. It'll be a 19-lapper because of the safety car, and Morgan is having to defend very vigorously. Butcher into the back of him almost there. Remember, the MG is also on the harder tyre that's expected to drop off, but Butcher doing a good job, and Sam Smeltz is in the wars again, I'm afraid, down at the old hairpin.
Yeah, he had a broken drive shaft in the last race. He's got some drive now, so is it just a harmless spin? Well, it's a harmless spin, but with a little bit of contact.
From Mike Bushell, by the look of it, yeah. Here are the leaders. And the gap is coming down again between Sutton and Morgan. So at the end of the lap, the concertina effect starts to take effect. When they came over the timing line to start the restart, it was half a second. It's still hovering around there, but Sutton has done the fastest lap. Not anymore. Cook goes quicker. Smiley goes quicker. Ingram goes quicker than anybody. And Cook dives up the inside of Butcher going into Redgate. Morgan is so busy defending, though, he can't really go after the leader here.
The hard tyres seem to be working okay at the moment, because Butcher's, he looks strong, although Morgan's just got away from him now, but Sutton was made a good restart, got a little jump on them while they were fighting amongst themselves down the inside, side by side, the two hunters of Goff and Smiley. Goff gets put out on the grass. Let's hope the splitter doesn't dig in.
Oh, Good save, Jack. He loses 1 place, 2 places, 3 places. That was robust stuff from Chris Smiley. A 4th place lost as Aidan Moffat goes through on the inside. Race lead battle is on. Butcher is defending for 3rd. Morgan, release, can concentrate now on attacking Sutton. And Smiley versus Ingram take 2. We had it in the middle race. And look at Morgan for the lead up the inside. There's not really a Mercedes with yet. 2 wheels skim the grass down to the chicane. Sutton has to give him racing room in the end, and Adam Morgan in the Back Tools Racing Mercedes is the race leader into the chicane at the end of lap 8. Morgan is ahead. Sutton 2nd, it's Cook up to 3rd, and Butcher down to 4th, Smiley 5th.
Well, I'll tell you what, Jack Goff will be thinking now, should I have given that place back to Josh Cook, because I might not have been in this situation. But also, should he have fought that hard? Camish down the inside of Ingram, they're side by side. Smiley just in front. It's going to be a drag race down the crane of curves. This always makes you wince, but it looks like Camish has got slightly in front. Yes, he's got his nose Cleasley ahead, so he can take the racing line. But some wicked side-by-side racing going on in this race.
48 kilos on Camish's Honda, 75, remember, on Ingram. So he's coming into this race with the same weight he had going into the first race, because that was for being the championship leader. So Morgan leading. Now the battle is on for 2nd place. Is Ash Sutton going to be the cork in the bottle on the harder tyre? Let's see. Here comes Josh Cook up the inside. He's got to get on with this, and he knows that, and he does so. Through he goes on the inside at Coppice, gets past his old teammate. Cook goes 2nd. Can he do anything about Morgan? Could he take 2 wins in a day even? 3rd is Sutton now. 4th is Butcher. And then Chris Smiley in 5th place, looking to see if he can gain further ground before the end.
Well, we thought it might come down to a battle between these two, didn't we? Morgan and Cook, and they're now 1st and 2nd, and we'll see who's got the outright pace. In terms of weight, they're both on the same tyre, but in terms of weight, Morgan is on 39 kilos, Cook on 27, barely anything between them.
Smiley, Camish, Ingram, the next long line of cars. Andrew Jordan's under attack from his old teammate, Jack Goff, trying to recover from being elbowed out to the grass. He's in 11th place as they plunge down the hill once again. We're on lap number 10 now of 19 because of that safety car period. What about Colin Turkington's progress? There is no more. He's still stuck down in 26th place. Smiley getting himself past Butcher, Camish getting himself past Butcher, Ingram going ahead of Butcher, and now Collard in the BMW tries to complete the set. Can he get up the inside? He tries. He is alongside, and the BMW on the tighter line should go through Aidan Moffat next. He tries to get past Collard as well as getting past fellow Scott Rory Butcher, and through he goes.
Yeah, poor old Rory Butcher, he's been hung out on the outside for 3 corners now while everybody steamed past him on the inside, but nothing he could do. Put up a good fight certainly at the start of this race, but that was never gonna hold on those hard tyres once the prime tired cars really got up to speed.
Andrew Jordan goes past him, and Jack Goff will try likewise, and he's taking Tom Chilton with him. So remember, Ash Sutton is the best of those on the hard tyre. The lead gap is down on that lap by another 3/10. Cook is catching Morgan on board with Goff.
Well, I don't think Goff is close enough. Whether he didn't get a particularly good exit from the chicane, but Butcher was certainly able to draw away from him, but not on the exit of the corner as Goff looks to tuck it up the inside with superior traction on those prime tyres, but isn't able to do so and is getting hassled himself, obviously, by Chilton.
So the fastest lap of the race done by Josh Cook. That is partly why the lead gap is coming down. Adam Morgan is only half a second ahead, and there they are, look. 3rd is Ash Sutton, who's on the harder tyre, remember, the same as Rory Butcher, but his are hanging on well for the moment in 3rd place. But look at the queue of cars growing behind him. Smiley 4th, Camish is 5th, Ingram is 6th, and then everybody else funneling through as Rob Austin in the background battles with the MG of Tom Boardman. There are the race leaders then. For the 11th time, down to the chicane. Sutton doing a good job. I know he's losing touch with the top 2, but he's hanging on to 3rd.
He's doing a remarkable job on the hard tyres. Oh, no!
Boardman off.
And that looks like it's in a dangerous place again.
So Tom Boardman, the man from Preston, gets out of the car. How did he get there? Contact with Rob Austin, and then also with the Team Hard Volkswagen. Was that Jake Hill behind that got involved?
Yeah, he's had a bit. Rob's had a bit of action up at Coppice, hasn't he? Oh, now we've got Camish up the inside of Smiley. Camish this is a favourite place, quickly becoming a favourite place of Camish's. Look, he gives room on the inside, knowing that. Oh no, didn't need that on. He's punctured. He's punctured. What a shame. He had that move done. Just tried to hold on round the outside, and the slightest contact.
And Smiley's in grief as well because it's done his suspension and all of that, so neither of them profited, and Chris Smiley's race is ruined because of that contact. So look, you can see the car crabbing. That's his race done after showing such good pace. Camish is in the gravel, and here it is again.
Well, they're side by side here. It appears that Camish gives room, and they looked fine. Well, it's just both wanted a similar bit of tarmac, didn't they? It was 50-50, that one.
So Dan Camish into the gravel, out of the race, and Chris Smiley will head for the pit lane. Big disappointment for him after what had been a really good day. Over the line comes Adam Morgan then. He's half a second up on Josh Cook, and Morgan has just done the fastest lap of the race to try to creep away. But we've now got more and more cars in gravel beds, haven't we? On board with Jake Hill. So he was involved in that little skirmish earlier, because there he is up with Rob Austin, and he's about to make a move on the inside line down into Redgate. He will go through here, and in so doing, that's going to give him 11th place.
Yeah, Rob's fighting back a little bit. We know how quick that VW is on a flat-out blast, but Rob's got round the outside, but Jake's not giving it in. We don't want to repeat at the last instant then. You'd think there'd still be yellow flags there. Maybe that's why he backed out of it, but yeah, it's typically becoming a race 3, isn't it? A touring car race 3.
Indeed so, yes, well put. All of which is helping the likes of James Nash, who started right at the very back of the grid, and he's now up into 13th place. There he is, look, in what is now the surviving BTC Norlin Honda. Chris Smiley, having been Camished, got to the pit lane, but I fear that's the end of the day for him, as Morgan's lead has extended fractionally. This next battle, Matt Neal in the surviving Team Dynamics Honda on the tail of Rory Butcher in the surviving MG into the chicane, and the two of them 8th and 9th.
Yeah, Matt Neal's going to do his customary charge. He did it in the 3rd race at Brands Hatch, and he's cannily picked his way through the debris here, and he's not going to be far behind this freight train. Collard up the inside of Ingram. Remember, Ingram's got 75 kilos on, so he's going to struggle, and he gets pushed out wide there. And this group could all end up queued up behind Ash Sutton, which could allow Matt Neal at the back to pick off a few more places.
It could indeed. Aidan Moffat then gaining a place as well, so that's bringing him closer to the front. And Andrew Jordan arrives on the tail now of Tom Ingram. Andrew's had a rather understated weekend, but he's going to go out with a flourish if he can and get himself up to the pointy end of the pack as they round McLean's corner. We're on lap 14 of 19. And the list of retirements is growing all the time. We've started with 32 and we've got 24 still circulating, and you never know what might kick off yet as Moffat goes way up the curve there, trying to straight line Coppice and get himself onto the tail of Collard, which he does on the run down to the chicane. Jordan is on the tail of Ingram behind, and they head into the braking zone this time. Moffat tries to find a way past Collard, but the BMW repels the challenge. Now this, remember, is for 4th and 5th places, which means that 3rd ahead of them is Ash Sutton on that hard tyre. This is a Herculean job that he's doing.
It is, but we've still a way to go. We've got yellow flags in Sector 3, but that's not stopping or deterring Aidan Moffat from having a look. Collard does the right thing and doesn't turn in, gives him some room, and is able to sweep still round the outside. Yeah, I sort of feel... Can Sutton hang on for the rest of this race? It's going to be a tough ask. I mean, if the goes behind him keep battling like that, it does slow them down.
But they're not yet on his tail, are they?
No.
He's 6/10 up the road, so they've got to catch him first. And because they're squabbling like this, that's delaying them. To McLean's they go. We're on lap 15 of 19. The laps are ticking down. And because Collard is still defending, and there you see Tom Boardman's car being retrieved, that line is growing behind. So it's Collard, Moffat, Ingram, then Jordan. Matt Neal is 8th. 9th now is Tom Chilton, who's got himself up past Rory Butcher. And Jake Hill going through shot there is 11th. 12th is Rob Austin. 13th is James Nash.
On board with Jake Hill, and we see them squabbling in front. That's Butcher and Chilton. Chilton's got up the inside now as poor old Rory continues to slip back a bit on those hard tyres, but he's still in the points. Jake gets a very good exit, but in fact it's so good he's forced to go to the outside. He might cut back. That MG going quick. He might cut back now. Yeah, go on. Oh. Rory wasn't having anything of it. He saw it coming and covered it off. So now the next chance is on the exit here to get up the inside here. 2 wheels on the grass, but you could do that flat out. That's no problem. And yeah, it worked. Rory going 2 wheels on the grass as well. But now side by side.
Job done.
Yeah.
Jake Hill goes through at the old hairpin.
Good driving by both.
Yeah, the room given from both, so we get the place changed. Now, this is for 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th. Keep on lining them up. And it is finally Collard catching up to Sutton, but he's got Moffat crawling all over him. And up the inside for 4th. Aidan Moffat is about to go through. Can the Mercedes get ahead of the BMW? They rub. Ingram is still behind, keeping Jordan at bay. And now foot nailed to the boards. Down towards the chicane they come. Aidan Moffat on the inside will go through and take 4th place from Rob Collard. What can he do now to catch and then pass Ash Sutton?
Yeah, so as soon as they caught up with Ash Sutton, they started falling over themselves, didn't they? Because they all think they're the quickest and the one to challenge. The guy that's being clever is Ingram, because he's just trying to get points. He's up there. He probably has been told that Goff has dropped back, who's his nearest championship challenger. Goff's down in 23rd place. So all Ingram's got to do is just maintain a good points finish. He's got Matt Neal, Andy Jordan coming through now, but even so, he'd still be in a good place, even if he finishes 8th or 9th.
I'm getting worried about Jack Goff because he's not yet come over the timing line at the end of that previous lap. So has he got a problem that might be sending him to the pit lane? No, he's just gone through, but Jack Goff has clearly got a big problem. He's way back now, 41 seconds off the leaders. Here is Goff down towards Redgate. It's more than a legacy, surely, of the rub he had with Chris Smiley early on. And again, here's an example, and we've said it all day, all season, of the young guns in the British Touring Car Championship ruling the roost. They come over the line, and the gap is less than ever now. We are on to lap 18 of 19. 2 to run, and 2 tenths between the leading 2 cars. Out of Redgate, Adam Morgan looking for his first victory of the season. Josh Cook looking for a career second, and a second of the day is right there behind him as they drop down towards the old hairpin. Cook closing under braking. Adam Morgan, though, is going to have to make this car so wide.
And they are right on the limit. A lap and a half to go, right on the ragged edge. There's several places to pass, but already, look, a little defensive move by Morgan just up into McLean's, just defending the inside, but he's going to have to defend like hell for the rest of it. Oh, and Aidan Moffat's got past Sutton.
So that puts him 3rd. And now does that breach the dam? Can Rob Collard get through? Let's see. Up towards the penultimate run to the chicane comes this lead battle. Adam Morgan versus Josh Cook. Mercedes versus Vauxhall. Hard on the brakes, into the right and then the left to start the final lap of round 6 of the British Touring Car Championship. It is Adam Morgan who leads the way, and that's Tom Oliphant in the wars again. He's off at Coppice. Thankfully, I don't think anybody else has been involved with him. But that is one very battle-scarred Mercedes. It gets going again as the leaders come out of Redgate then. We're on the last lap of the race. It is Morgan ahead by 3 tenths of a second.
So close, and Morgan's driving a great race. He's barely compromising him as Matt Neal gets past Ingram, but that's fine. As I say, Ingram's still going to go away from this weekend very happy with his point.
Yeah, that's going to push him back into 8th place, but it's still well clear of his championship rival, and Ingram's not giving up. He has a rather cheeky look on the inside there of the triple champion. So, Moffat up to 3rd, Collard is up to 4th, and Jordan is up to 5th. Sutton finally falls back as to Coppice for the last time. Morgan and Cook virtually as one. This is going to go down to the wire, isn't it, as they accelerate now onto Starkey Straight, down to the chicane. Has Adam Morgan got enough in hand then? Let's see. At the end of that second sector, he was fractionally quicker, but Cook is towing himself onto the tail as they get to the chicane. Through the right, through the left, the checkered flag is ready. Round 6 of the Dunlop MSA British Touring Car Championship is won by Adam Morgan in the Mack Tools Racing Mercedes. Power Match Racing's Josh Cook is 2nd. 3rd is going to be Aidan Moffat. A great result for him, ahead of Rob Collard and then Andrew Jordan. The 2 BMWs are 4th and 5th. Who is going to be 6th? It's a virtual dead heat because on the line it is just Sutton from Neal. Ingram is 8th, Chilton 9th, and Jake Hill into the top 10. A good result. Time for another deep breath. Another fabulous race and a great drive by Adam Morgan to withstand all that pressure. Tom Ingram 7 points ahead of Adam Morgan in the championship. Josh Cook is up to 3rd, and down to 4th falls Jack Goff. Ash Sutton 5th ahead of Aidan Moffat. Dan Camish is down to 7th ahead of Chris Smiley. Then it's Rob Austin, and 10th Colin Turkington.